This week could truly change everything for Tesla and the entire stock market. We're heading into one of the most action-packed weeks in months, where four massive events will collide over just a few days. What happens next could send Tesla stock soaring to new highs or crashing below key support levels. And it's not just about Tesla. This week's events will ripple through the entire market, affecting tech stocks, cryptocurrencies, traditional companies, and even global markets. Let's break down exactly why this week matters. On Wednesday, all eyes will be on the Federal Reserve as they announce their latest decision on interest rates. For anyone new to investing, interest rates are like the heartbeat of the financial system. When the Fed raises rates, borrowing money becomes more expensive for everyone, from big corporations to everyday consumers. This can slow down economic activity and often causes stock prices to fall, especially for growth companies like Tesla that rely heavily on future earnings and investment. On the flip side, if the Fed holds rates steady or hints at rate cuts coming soon, that's great news for the market. Lower rates encourage spending, investment, and growth, and that typically pushes stocks higher. That's why this week's rate decision is critical. Most analysts expect the Fed to keep rates unchanged, but here's the twist. What truly matters is not just the rate itself, but what Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell says immediately after the announcement. Powell's press conference has become one of the most watched events in finance. His tone, his choice of words, and even his facial expressions can move billions of dollars in a matter of seconds. If Powell sounds confident, calm, and focused on supporting economic growth, markets could rally. But if he sounds worried about inflation or hints that more rate hikes might be needed, stocks could tumble. Tesla, in particular, could react sharply because it's a high-volatility stock that tends to swing more than the average company when markets move. Then on Thursday, the U.S. government will release its GDP report for the second quarter. GDP, or Gross Domestic Product, is the broadest measure of economic health. It shows how fast the economy is growing, or if it's slowing down. A strong GDP number means the economy is expanding, people are spending, and businesses are investing. That's good news for companies like Tesla, because a strong economy usually leads to more people buying cars, especially electric vehicles. But if GDP growth is weak, it might be a sign that the economy is starting to stall. That could scare investors and push stocks lower. And for Tesla, which is planning big expansions and depends on strong consumer demand, a slowing economy could be bad news. But the story doesn't stop there. On Friday, we get the July jobs report, also called non-farm payrolls. This report shows how many jobs were added in the past month and gives a snapshot of how healthy the labor market is. If job growth is strong, that means people are working, earning, and spending. Again, good for Tesla. But there's a catch. If the labor market is too strong, the Fed might worry about inflation heating up again. More jobs could mean higher wages, which could lead to higher prices, and that might force the Fed to raise interest rates again in the future. So, a jobs report that's too strong or too weak could shake up the entire market. Now, let's zoom in on Tesla itself. Tesla's stock has been on a roller coaster ride recently. After a solid run earlier this year, the company's latest earnings report disappointed Wall Street. Elon Musk warned that Tesla might face a few rough quarters ahead. Sales have slowed in important markets like China and Europe. Profit margins have shrunk as Tesla has cut prices to compete with other automakers. And the competition is heating up. Ford, GM, and startups like Rivian are all pushing hard into electric vehicles. So why are so many investors still bullish on Tesla? Because Tesla isn't just a car company. It's also a technology leader, a battery innovator, a player in AI, and possibly even the future of autonomous transportation. Musk has teased projects like a robo-taxi network, a new AI supercomputer, and massive battery storage systems, all of which could fuel Tesla's growth for years to come. But for now, short-term market moves depend heavily on this week's economic data. If the Fed holds rates steady, if the GDP report shows growth, and if the jobs report is healthy but not too hot, Tesla could see a big rally. Some analysts believe the stock could surge past $350 if the news is good. But if Powell sounds cautious or if the data shows weakness, Tesla could fall below $300, which is a critical technical support level. Speaking of technical analysis, right now Tesla's stock is trading between $300 and $325. If it breaks above $325, that's a bullish signal and could attract more buyers. But if it drops below $300, things could turn ugly quickly, with the next support level around $285. Big institutional investors are watching these levels closely. Their buying or selling decisions could amplify Tesla's moves. This week is also important for traders and long-term investors alike. If you're trading short-term, you'll want to watch the headlines closely, especially during the Fed's press conference and when the economic reports are released. Even a single sentence from Powell can move the market. If you're a long-term investor, this week is about understanding the bigger picture. Is the economy still growing? Is inflation under control? Is Tesla still leading the electric vehicle revolution? The answers to those questions could shape the next few months, or even years, for Tesla and the market. So, what's the bottom line? Tesla's fate this week will be shaped by 4 major events: the Fed's rate decision, Powell's speech, the GDP report, and the jobs report. Each one could push the stock up or down. Together, they could cause massive volatility. That's why this week might be the most important week of the summer for Tesla, the stock market, and your investment portfolio. Stay informed, stay focused, and be ready for anything. Let me know in the comments. Are you bullish or bearish on Tesla this week? What's your price target by Friday? Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss real-time updates. We'll be tracking every market move as it happens. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.